What is going on, GW2 community? Welcome back to another Guild Wars 2 build video. My name is Ultra Runner, and before we jump into the build, if you are new to the channel, we make new GW2 videos every week with a focus on builds for structured PvP, world versus world, and open world. If this is something that interests you, please consider supporting the channel by subscribing, liking, or commenting. Alright, let's get into the Scourge Blood Support build. Now when it comes to Necromancer builds, Scourge does not get as much love as Reaper and Harbinger, and I think I know why. Some have the perception that Scourge and the word support mean you aren't doing as much damage, but if you hang on and watch the gameplay later on in the video, I will show you that is absolutely not the case at all. Scourge is a bit more complex to play because you are supporting your team with barriers, boon support, healing, CC, etc. But you are also pumping out solid damage at the same time. I do want to emphasize that the Blood Support build is designed to thrive in structured PvP, and your main goal is to support your team and keep them alive. You always want to fight in groups, never waste your time in 1v1s unless it's absolutely necessary. As a blood support build, you are extremely difficult to kill since you have so many different defensive options and nearly endless barriers that block incoming damage. You'll see in the video later on that I'm able to defend against a whole enemy squad by rotating barriers, CCing the enemy, along with boon corrupting and impressive healing, all at the same time. Alright, let's start with the weapons. The first weapon is the staff. There's a very good reason we are using the staff. Every single ability on the staff generates life force. You want life force so you can use your shade abilities. These shade abilities are extremely powerful. Here's a pro tip for you. Your auto attack, make sure you're using that auto attack when someone or your enemy is downed. You pop them 4 or 5 times with that, it's 4% every single auto attack, so keep that in mind. Now your back bar weapons here is the axe in the Warhorn. This is your DPS, really to help take enemies down a lot quicker if you're in that particular situation. Ghastly Claws is a very powerful DPS skill. Now, I like the Warhorn primarily for fear and swiftness. I use the swiftness almost every time it's ready to go on cooldown. So there's a lot of utility and a lot of synergy here with these weapons. Moving over to utilities, the first utility we have here is Sand Flare. Now this is really powerful. You get a self-heal of almost 4k along with a barrier of 3000. So that's essentially almost a 7000 health heal. The barrier is blocking 3000 damage, so that's essentially health to you. Well of Darkness. Now the Well of Darkness, the Serpent Siphon, and the Ghastly Breach. You're going to want to drop all 3 of these around the same time because it's going to slow them, it's going to steal boons, it's going to burn them, it's going to poison, it's going to do all kinds of things at the same time. It can wipe out a team if they are not careful. So if you're chilling them, they can't move quick. If they can't blink out, they can't break stun. If you drop all 3 of these, they are in major trouble. But talking about one of the strongest benefits of this particular build with the Blood Scourge is barrier ability production. Now, you got 3000 barrier on this particular skill right here. Now, when you go into Shroud, you get an additional or an initial barrier of almost 3000. After 3.5 seconds, you get an additional 2000 barrier. So 2000, 3000, 3000 there. There's another barrier here for 2000. I mean, you're talking an additional 12,000, 13,000 or so of health. That brings you upwards of 40,000. You are extremely tanky. And when you're tanky and you're dropping your marks and chilling everybody at the same time, it's extremely difficult for them to catch up to you. You're going to see in the video, I'm holding off an entire team that's trying to get me, but I'm constantly CCing them, slowing them down, healing myself, dropping barriers. This is a very, very fun build. Once you get the hang of it, you're almost unkillable. Moving on to what we are wearing. We are using the Avatar Amulet, primarily for the healing power, the vitality. Those two are really, really strong with this build. Obviously, we're doing a lot of healing. We need to keep our health up high. We want to have that tankiness to us. So the Avatar fits perfectly with this. And the Rune of Doliac is a perfect synergy with the Avatar. You have toughness and vitality, and you are regenerating health every single second. So very beneficial to have these two synergizing together. Now on the staff, we have Sigil of Revocation, removes a boon every 10 seconds. Sigil of Energy, gain 25% of your endurance when you swap to this weapon while in combat. And Sigil of Intelligence and Energy on the back bar. All right, moving over to the professions part of the build. The first one is the Scourge, obviously. In the first row, we have Abrasive Grit. Why are we using that? Every time we heal ourselves, we are giving ourselves a barrier along with giving our team a barrier, as long as they are within the 240 meter radius. Then we have Sandstorm Shroud. This is a very powerful skill. You're going to get that initial barrier. You're going to roam around for 3.5 seconds while you are generating a detonation, and you're going to drop a 2,000 damage bomb in that 180 meter radius, along with gaining an additional barrier once it detonates. In the third row, we have Feed from Corruption. Every time you corrupt a boon from an enemy, you steal that boon. You gain that boon for yourself. Really powerful synergy here. So that is what we are using in Scourge. Moving on to Soul Reaping. In the first row, we have Soul Marks. Marks become unblockable and generate life force when triggered. As we mentioned earlier in the build, that is absolutely necessary to get life force up as quick as possible. To make us even more tankier, we have Vital Persistence, gives us vitality and increases our incoming healing. And in the third row, we have Depth Perception. This was recently changed by ANET in the recent patch, and this is a super powerful skill. Increases your critical damage by 15% and increases your critical chance by 10%, whether you are in Shroud or not. So it doesn't matter. That is a permanent buff throughout the entire gameplay. Last but not least is Blood Magic, hence the Scourge Blood Support build. In the first row, we have Lesser Well of Blood, hugely powerful skill here. When you go to revive a down teammate, you are going to get a massive initial heal of 4,610, along with getting healed every second while you are reviving your down teammate. Very powerful skill. Vampiric Presence, this is for stealing life constantly. It's a little slow trickle, but it's very helpful. And Blood Bank. So what this does is it actually gives you more barrier as you're gaining health. So as you can see, all of this synergizes very well to make the Blood Scourge build extremely, extremely tanky. You can fight 2, 3, 4, even an entire team sometimes, unless they are super, super skilled and highly skilled on the DPS side. But there you have it, guys. That is the Blood Scourge support build. Hang on for the rest of the video. We go 22-0. We have extremely high damage, very high healing, tons of barrier support. We are having a blast in this game. So please hang on, check it out. And last but not least, if you like this content, do not hesitate to hit that subscribe button. We love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. We're out. Peace.